Good morning, good evening, or afternoon. I think I messed that order up. Either way, welcome back to the Yapologist. Today, your host, Jester, and as always, joined with Steak.
Hi.
Um, and today, we have a special episode I think you're going to enjoy. We're going to dissect and talk about five different games from open world and linear and compare the two and see where their strengths and weaknesses are. There's also interesting examples that could come from, for example, linear open world games, but we'll get into that later. But for now, thank you for watching. Please stick around.
Let's get
Let's
into
go.
it. Helldivers and Hellpods. Also, I just want a quick shout out. We're at 30 subs. Um, Thank y'all for all the love, especially on the most recent episode. I mean, I knew it was gonna be a banger, and it is a banger for us. I know it's not like a lot, but that is
It is a lot to us.
it is a lot. 100 views, dude. It's crazy, all crazy.
It's
So thank you.
our best video, thanks to y'all.
And I knew it was gonna be a banger, so I had a feeling. So, oh, I think for this episode though, do you want to start us off?
Yeah. Um, I will be handling the open world portion for this discussion, if you will, and I want to start off by defining what an open world game is or should be. And in my opinion, an open world game is something more akin to Elden Ring. You're just kind of dropped in and have fun, go explore, and not know what you're doing, type of thing.
Kind of told.
Um,
Well, I feel like you kind of told what you're doing. You just, but
you're given a vague direction, and then things don't make sense when you get there. And I'll put it this way, dude: if I didn't have people there to help me out, I would be so lost and probably would have stopped playing that game way quicker than I did.
yeah. And I feel like
Um,
it's a little bit of the beauty of open world in the sense that you really, like, especially Elden Ring. That game is you really like are kind of just kind of told, hey, have fun, and especially it being a build your own person RPG type thing, you know. So you're
yeah,
really kind of given a
it's
lot of freedom and choice of what to do.
I definitely think having the freedom to do what you want in an open world is a necessity, but I think that it should have a decent structure, or at least starting off to it. Because not everyone that plays your game is going to be like a mega nerd on that series or that kind of game style or like choices you can make. They might not be used to it, you know. So
Yeah.
I feel like there should be at least some direction in the beginning that kind of sets you up. For another example of that, I would say Horizon Zero Dawn is a good example of another open world game where, in my opinion, they set you up way better. You know, um, granted, it's way more story oriented, and I do see the differences between that and Elden Ring. However, my point still stands is that they set you up pretty well before they actually let you off into the world and go wherever you want.
So
Granted, it's still blocked off by level, but it's still like that for Elden Ring. You know,
so like
so
because I've never played Horizon Zero Dawn. What is that like? I guess like a quick little description.
quick little description. Best way to describe it, there is a religious group of people. Okay, we're gonna scratch that. Little bit of spoilers, nothing crazy though. Machines bad took over world. Okay, that's very important. Um, After that, it was almost like a great reset to humanity. They reverted back to like hunting and gathering era, right? And so from that, you have this religious sect that believes that it's honestly kind of hard to describe without getting into like spoilers. But the best way I want to describe it is their religious figure doesn't believe in technology, and there are other religious figures that do. and they form their different clans and stuff. The big appeal of that game though is fucking mech dinosaurs
Oh,
kind of roam
okay.
the land, and it's fucking awesome. So you're a hunter gatherer. The best way I could describe it is Far Cry Primal if it had dinosaurs and was actually better, you know.
Better is crazy. Okay, I mean, I definitely see the appeal. I definitely want to try out that game, but
It's
yeah.
it's great. I'm not even like that much of a mech guy, and if you are, for the viewers listening, I think you should definitely check it out if you haven't. If you can, you know, willing you have a PlayStation. But
Or PC. Is it on PC? Steam?
I want to say yes. I want to say yes. If not, then like it's supposed to be soon. But
That's good.
yeah. So like I said, Horizon Zero Dawn is a great example of how I feel like a open world game should set you up, especially if it's a game that as big as it is, if that makes sense. Like Elden Ring. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I'm pretty damn sure that is like the true definition to that series of like an open world game. Like I know Dark Souls 1, 2, and 3 you could go wherever you want, but I feel like it is a way more.
Linear.
Yeah, it's a little bit more of a linear experience. Same thing with Bloodborne, you know. But Elden Ring, they just fucking they drop you in there, and dude, you got the size of London to explore.
Yeah.
I mean, that's pretty small, but
And you can even
we
just
we all
like
get what I'm trying to say, you
you
know.
can just
And
straight up face whatever boss you want in whatever order. I mean, you first spawn in. After you do the tutorial, there's the whole uh the gate horse guard. I think I forget, but just like
yeah,
riding
I don't
around.
remember his name.
Tree
Yeah, like
Sentinel.
there's so much to that game, man, and it's wild.
Yeah.
And listen, I love a good challenge when it comes to video games. I love Ninja Gaiden in that series. I played all the games. Like, it's not that I can't beat it. It's just so much of a hassle when you add RPG elements on top of not knowing what the fuck you're doing and given no direction. It's
Yeah.
it's honestly one of my biggest gripes, you know.
What?
Horizon Zero Dawn, like I said, they set that up. I don't want to say perfectly, but pretty damn good. You know, it was beautiful. Um,
I mean,
yeah, so that was that. I kind of want to talk a little bit more about Elden Ring in terms of their open world. I do think like once you understand what's going on, that game is one of the best games ever made, in my opinion. I don't necessarily enjoy it, um, but I'm not naive to the fact of how incredible that open world is, and I just want to say that just because it's not for me, I'm not like I said, I'm not naive to that fact. It's a great game. Um, that being
yeah.
said, it just does suck a little bit when you just don't know what to do, you know. And
And I
I
feel
feel
like,
like in terms of open world games, you can't have that feeling of just like absolute lost, you know.
well, I think that's the whole. Because my whole thing with Elden Ring, that's its appeal. Like, that's the whole Dark Souls, Souls-like, Soulsborne, whatever. That's the whole Souls game. You know, that's kind of what they do. They give you a challenge, and they give you, like, you just kind of dropped in and told, hey, you know, good luck. Obviously, there are plenty of people that do, do guides, kind of explain to people, like, hey, this is how you do it. This is each boss you should face. This is how you should level up. And that's a great thing because I mean, people who don't know what to do, right? It's like, dude, I don't want to play this game if I don't know what to do. So, I think Souls players understand that to sense that they can help, and they're willing to like, well, not willing, but like they'll help people with what they do. So, but no, it is definitely like probably the most challenging Soulsborne or even challenging game most recent times. My fault. So,
No, you're good. I would agree though. Um,
and I mean a lot of people like that, but I definitely understand like both sides of like, dude, I want to be able to play a game I know what I'm doing because I feel like that's what a lot of older games like really I feel like there weren't a lot of open world games back in the day, when I was growing up, I felt like I played a lot of linear games. So, but
I think it was definitely limited to the technology of the time. And if there was an open world game, it wasn't really the best, you know.
yeah,
Um, yeah, I don't have anything against like them in the past for that shit. I think it's very challenging to try and make an open world. Fun fact, fun side note: Alan Wake, the first game, was meant to be a open world survival horror, but the Remedy team realized, fuck no, that is a lot of work, and they made it way more linear. But
yeah,
you could definitely see what they were trying to do in the beginning.
that's fair.
Um, but yeah, in terms of Elden Ring, to each their own. I see the appeal. I just don't enjoy it that much. If you do though, glad you like something. You know. Um, Now the next open world game I want to talk about is the structure of it is more akin to Horizon Zero Dawn. You know, you have objectives around the map. You have certain things you can do. Dude, the hitbox to kill somebody is fucking wild.
Yeah, I did
For
not think
the
you were that close.
I didn't even touch you, but besides the point, I digress. Um, yeah, Elden Ring, you know, no direction. You're not really sure what to do, you know, until you get really familiar with it. Um, but with a game like Far Cry 3, for example, you're told what to do, and it comes through in story elements. And Far Cry 3, for example, go to game, by the way. If you haven't played it, I feel bad for you, because it
I
probably
want
kind of
to.
honestly suck now. Because, you know, just like graphics and all that, if you care about that. It originally came out on the 360 back in 2011, 12, one of the two. Um, but it was an incredible game. Has my favorite video game antagonist of all time. Um, but again, I'm kind of missing the point here. What I want to get to is that Far Cry 3 is way more structured, and it definitely doesn't go as in depth with wildlife as a game like Horizon Zero Dawn does, but it heavily leans into the story aspect of that game, and it does something that is so genius because in the gaming world, uh, you can have, I forgot the correct terminology for it, but you'll probably ludonarrative dissonance. That's what it is. Basically, what you're doing, the actions you take in the game, don't line up with the story. And Far Cry 3 is one of those where they they made what you were doing fit to the story, but not in just like a bullshit way, you know? It was a meaningful and impactful like case study of the character. And I want to say the reason why that's so important in terms of open world is that in a game like Horizon Zero Dawn, for example, right? You know what you're doing. You're set out. You've been training. You know, her whole life to go out and fucking hunt and shit. Um, the main character of Far Cry 3 never had that and is learning on the fly. And you see what a normal person does to survive and interact with the environment around them. And that creates for very interesting gameplay elements sometimes, you know? I mean, something as easy as like driving through the, not countryside, because they're not on a country, island side, correct term, I guess?
Middle.
Driving through the
Yeah.
island side of things, there's just so much that can happen. There's a lot you can encounter, and that game offers such a beautiful landscape for the time, in my opinion. I've always loved like ocean things, but I think Far Cry 3 is the best example that you could give of an open world game that is like very heavily focused on the story. You know, they don't shy away from it. And the best parts about that game is the first half. It's still good in the second half, but like peak it is in the first half.
That's fair.
So yeah, I kind of wanted to say that about the difference between a game like Elden Ring and Horizon Zero Dawn and Far Cry 3 is like they each offer their own thing. You know, it it can be a little confusing at first to understand the difference, but When you take a little bit of a closer look, it all starts to make sense. A lot of games offer different things. And open world goes for that. You just got to find what you like. For me personally, I do enjoy games more like Far Cry 3 or Horizon Zero Dawn, right? There's a very heavily tied story involved, and it makes me want to explore that world that I've been dropping into, and it's it's an amazing experience in my opinion. Uh, what do you think about that?
I think
Unfair.
so. Like the way you talk about it, I really do think. Um, I mean, this is just me. I guess the whole game that relates to the most of it is almost like Halo Infinite, which I mean, Halo coming off of Halo being just the most linear gaming series ever. Like it was always a point A to point B type game, and then with Halo
Yeah.
Infinite coming out and it being an open world. First of all, I just want to say I think uh, as much hate 343 has gotten, I think campaign wise for Halo Infinite, it was pretty goated. I mean, obviously, was it the best? No. But what they did and what they tried to do, I do like it. Because it was just kind of like the same thing. There was this you were on Zeta Halo, which was the place called. You were on, you know, and you were just kind of told, hey, get all your forces together. But like the way it it was structured is there was each section you could go to and you needed to do a certain amount of missions before you could go to the next area, which it kind of was a smart in a sense because you didn't have just the absolute
Keep going.
freedom of being able to go anywhere, but it still was like you just had that
Stop.
mission objective of like Halo in the sense that like you do these little individual missions, and I put that in quotes. Um, and then you can move on to the next area. You had all these different bosses you can kill. You can like gather the USMC scattered forces around the area. But I mean, for Far Cry 3, even that kind of feels like at the way you describe it, I've never played it, but that feels like a standard like open world game. It's like these are what you want to follow by. You have the option to do all these explorations, but it still very much wants you to focus on the story, and it has such a. I mean, Far Cry 3 has probably one of the best story in the Far Cry games. I know you love it. A lot of people love it for a reason. I mean, obviously there's the different Far Cry games, and each one offers their own story, whatever. But I think
I truly do think they peaked with Far Cry 3 in terms of story. Like a lot of people like Far Cry 4, and I'm not gonna try and make this whole thing, but I just I don't know, man.
you just prefer Far Cry
Love
3.
Troy Baker, but Pagan Min just
Yeah.
I don't know.
So
I don't know.
I mean, it goes
Didn't
back to
hit
the
as hard as
whole.
Boss did.
It goes back to the whole preference thing. At the end of the day, I mean, you like what you like, and you know I feel like that's also another whole thing about games, and each game is trying to offer their own unique experience and even test some new things. And if you like it, you like it. You don't, you don't. I mean, that's just gonna be the way it goes. I know a lot of people probably did not like a lot of longtime Halo fans probably did not like um, Halo Infinite campaign wise because it was an open world. It was something new. It wasn't you know the standard Halo game where each you would go into each mission. So. But I mean, I guess that's the whole beauty of open world games because I think nowadays there's so many and you have such a can of selection, I guess, about what you want to do, where you want to go. I mean, yeah.
I definitely agree. Um, I swear I've had deja vu this moment. I don't know why it's hitting me. It's just random. Sorry, but Yes. Far Cry 3 goated. People like different preferences. I think Halo Infinite is actually the perfect example for a linear non-open game, in my opinion. And
Like you said,
I'm not like the biggest Halo fan.
linear non-open.
Um, or you know what I mean? Linear open world.
Yeah,
Like
elements of both.
yeah, because it definitely feels way more streamlined, and there's like a couple things you could do. Um, but moving on. Halo goated. Next question. Um, I think my next game I want to talk about for open world, which is arguably the best made environment in terms of the actual like open world setting itself and like the events that go on in it, is Red Dead Redemption 2. Um,
Goaded.
I'm not gonna lie, I was not the biggest fan of Red Dead 1 or 2. I found that game, both of them, boring AF for years. And it wasn't until just recently where I said to myself, stop being a bitch. And I forced myself to play it, and I could not be happier. I fucking love it, you know? And truly getting to experience the open world in Red Dead 2, it's fucking awesome, man. I'll never forget. I'll never forget. I was trying to help some dude with his horse out, you know, trying to get the high honor ending because I'm a man. And he's like, hey, well, first off, Arthur's like, hey, can I help? And the dude stops brushing his horse, goes behind his horse, and then he's like, oh yeah, that'd be. And the horse fucking double kicks him, and he fucking dies in front of me. And I was so shocked when that happened. It was a mix of laughter and like, what the fuck am I supposed to do? So, so funnily enough, I did the thing that I thought was right, and you know, I totally picked the guy's body up. Um, I was gonna go like find a better place. His bro was just like in the road. Unfortunately, somebody saw me pick the body up and they thought I murdered him, and it was a whole thing. It's shit like that that like really elevates a fucking the landscape for a game that you could have, and the amount of different encounters that I've had. I mean, they're all slightly similar, but I would say they're more so different. You know, it's the same structure of oh I need help or oh someone's in trouble, but each story is different and genuine. You know, unique. Plus the nature in that game is so beautiful, man. The different landscapes. You got the mountains, the desert. Not really desert, but more
Plateau. Desert
I,
plateau.
yeah, kind of plateauy. It just offers a wide range, and I mean the wildlife in that game is awesome, and the way they handled it is incredible. You know, I truly think that Red Dead 2 is a, you know, in a perfect world, that is the golden standard for a open world game,
Yeah.
depending on you know what it's about. Mm.
Which it
Yeah, dude. Speaking of which, I can't wait to finish Red Dead 2. I'm very excited. It is a long game though, so it's probably gonna be a minute, take a bit, but that's fine. Um,
I mean,
you ever play Red Dead?
I have a
Unfair?
little bit. I got pretty far, I want to say. Well, not pretty far, but like maybe middle of the story. But I also did love the fact that like, you could obviously help all these people and I would go around and have different interactions or whatever. But I think my favorite part, and this is just me, is not only the animal aspect. Sorry, I'm stretching, but also the like the different the horses you could get. I think I love that fact that you could like just randomly take someone's
I
horses um
yeah, that shit is wild.
or just like buy your own horse because I don't know about y'all, but I love big horses like Clydesdale, and because those are just beauties. And I think the one thing I've always wanted to do was in that game was get a Clydesdale, and I remember looking up how to get Clydesdale in the game because I really wanted one. But they have obviously a bunch of different horses for around the time, and you see that because there's all these like different markets you can get, and even just taking care of the horses, something I love because like you know realistically that's what someone would be doing is like in that sense it kind of makes sense. Like you're taking care of the horse, you're feeding it, you're brushing it. And the more you do, the more I guess better it'll act. Or
The bond you get, yeah,
yeah.
bond increases.
So
It's fucking awesome, dude. I mean, there's no other way to put it.
I mean,
Uh,
sorry, my freaking what is my quasar launcher doing? Do you see it glitching?
I do. I know how to fix it.
That works too. But no, with what little with what little interaction I've had with it, I really did love it, and I would love to obviously go back and hopefully hopefully be able to actually finish it this time. I'm not spawning you in. It is hell.
You can't do this without.
Sorry everyone watching at home.
Nah, this shit's peak. Y'all know it.
Okay. But I mean, with Red Dead 2, I feel like that's a standard game of like, you know, this is the standard. This what should be the standard, and you know, we hope and pray every day that a game announcing with an open world is striving towards that like peakness of story mode and options and availability, and all these different little interactions you can have with any game. I mean, does it always happen? No, and it's just sad reality of it. But we can always hope and pray. So,
Damn straight.
but yeah, how many games was that? 4.
4. The last game I do want to talk about for open world before Unfair takes over is the best game in that series, Batman Arkham City. Um,
I forgot about that game.
now listen, let's calm down. I could feel the you read about Arkham Knight, better open world. Yes, I don't care. Atmosphere's peak in City. Um,
That's another
Plus it's
thing.
also not that
Sorry, it's like
big of a game compared to Knight.
atmosphere. I feel like in a game. Sorry, is I feel like
No,
another
you're good.
thing. But continue.
It's I don't know, man. The more I play single player games, the more I'm trying to like learn what I love, and I think the thing I love the most is a good atmosphere. There's just something unmatched about fucking being Batman in a dark and gritty universe, and in Arkham Knight you already know what to expect. But in Arkham Asylum, a lot of the people you fought, it was it was just handled very differently in City, you know. And for me being a young kid at the time, I didn't know what to expect, and Arkham City was my first intro to the Batman games. Um, However, I will never forget the feeling of I can't exactly remember the name of it, but it was like Raj Al Ghul's clan hideout. This real creepy vibe. They were like it was a 1950s aesthetic. Everything was just run down. Tables were broken and shit. It was almost like a city block underground, and there were fucking robots from that time period that were broken. And I'll never forget feeling that. And it's a crazy thing to experience when you're like 9, you know. But it
Yeah.
was awesome, and I wouldn't have it any other way. And dude, it's just again, the open world was awesome. It was very simple, especially for the time it came out. But it was effective, and the side stories that they had throughout the main world were interesting enough, in my opinion, to like keep somebody around. It's just peak.
Yeah.
No other way to put it.
No,
I also do think that the gliding mechanics worked flawlessly in City, and they did an amazing job at showing what you could do with a superhero game. Because Arkham Asylum was a great step into that, but it was not an open world or even as much as it was as Arkham City was, or even Arkham Knight. So that's my opinion on it.
that's fair. I mean, I apologize. I apologize. I've never played any of the Batman games. I know you've always vouched for them. You're always like, dude, play
Man,
them.
you gotta start living a little, man.
Yeah. There's
Do
just a
something
lot.
with
There's a
your life,
lot of
man. Nah, I'm
games.
joking.
You said what?
I said do something with your life, man.
Oh, but I mean, it's just like I know there's games I've played that you haven't played, which we'll get into in a bit. But
No, we won't. I'm joking.
I think with the whole Batman, with what clips I've always seen about that, the atmosphere has always just been that was my fault, has been fantastic, and I've definitely appreciated it for what it is because I'm not gonna lie, when I think of Gotham, looking at all that, I'm like, damn, that shit like rocks. That shit is fire to like kind of look at
Hit
in.
Bayman with that. Yo, that's crazy. Anyways, I'm out.
Yeah, but I don't know. There's something that I really wanna like. It definitely looks like a game I would love to play, and I appreciate that because that open world just kind of seems. I didn't even know that was open world. I genuinely thought that was more of a linear,
Oh yeah,
but
it has aspects of being linear, but I mean, you could go. I'll put it this way: it gives you a mission, and you gotta go do it. But you do whatever the fuck you want. You know,
yeah. So
there's no real limitations.
which which I feel like they probably cooked real well with that, and um, you know, you really kind of see a lot of aspects of it, and I don't really know. But like you said, atmosphere, which I want to go back to maybe Elden Ring and even Red Dead 2. I feel like those are two also very high quality atmospheres. I mean, completely different and vast. You see Red Dead 2 with the whole American Western, cowboys, all these things, gunslingers, shout out A7X, and um,
All right,
all
all right.
that. But I
Yeah.
mean, with I guess Elden Ring, you have like just a vastness because when you really step out after that tutorial, you see how vast and big the um the world is, and it just like it probably not only takes some people's breath away, but really shows how vast the world is, and makes you feel a lot smaller that than you actually are, but like you have the power and you have the tools, you have all these things to conquer all these different bosses, gods, demigods, whatever. So, they become the Elden Lord, and I think like they really the Elden Ring does that well. Red Dead 2 does that well, and then you know, um, so does Batman. So I don't know.
I feel like it.
No, I just love
You can
atmosphere
go.
because that's the one thing, especially for me, visually wise, that's gonna grip me. I could give two shits about graphics, I guess. I mean, obviously with a good atmosphere, you'll want good graphics, but like atmosphere especially, and like how you feel, and whether you're made to feel small in a big world, or big in a smaller world, or big in a big world, it really just like it is something that like I pay attention to a lot because I'm always looking around, you're looking at different things, trees. So, yeah, that's all.
I was about to say, I feel like it also depends on what kind of atmosphere you like. I will not sugarcoat it. I am like a moth to a flame whenever you're talking about like a Norse aesthetic, Alan Wake 2, the Batman series, dark and gritty, Silent Hill, like I'm just naturally I gravitate towards that. So something as beautiful as Elden Ring and even Red Dead 2, I'm still going to be captivated by it, don't get me wrong. Excuse me. But it's never going to have an effect on me as those games would.
Yeah.
And also honorable mention, I guess. Um it's I would classify it more as like a linear open world. But Ghost of Tsushima, oh my god, the most one of, if not the most beautiful game I've ever played. Like straight up, it's the game is something else, dude. I'll just put it that way. Um,
Yeah.
you need to add that to a game you need to play. By the way, unfair.
I have it
You
on
can get
my
it on PC now,
Steam wish.
so
I know I have it on my Steam wish list. I'm just
no excuses.
I'm dude.
No
I'm moving.
excuses
I'm
now.
moving. Let me be.
I don't give a fuck. I'm about to buy that shit for you.
Uh,
It's at that point.
you might as well
This
just make a
this has
Steam
to be
account
done.
and send. No, I'm joking.
This has to be done.
Okay. But I mean, that's definitely. I was gonna ask you, are there any honorable mentions or other games that are open world that you feel like a lot of people either A don't talk about or probably do talk about or whatever?
I feel like it's forgotten. Um, but dude, the Tomb Raider series, the new Survivor series, is fucking incredible. Every game, I know the third game is lacking in terms of a lot, but even then, the presentation in that game and the setting, it's fucking beautiful. Like the fact that I'll put it this way: if the worst game in your series is, I don't know why I was gonna say Assassin's Creed Shadows. Don't worry about that. Is Shadow of the Tomb Raider? Um, I would say your series is pretty fucking good. I'm not gonna lie. Like, it's oh my god, dude. Just all three of those games, they're epic. They're awesome.
Yeah.
Uh, I can't tell you my favorite one. It's honestly a tie between the first and the second. But then again, like I love the fucking setting of three. I don't know. You see, I'm just an indecisive bitch. It's awesome though. I
Which
love
I
it.
mean, which
Uh,
is which is a great thing with games. I mean, if you can't, I feel like it's a good thing because it just kind of goes to show like how many good games there are. A little appreciation for that
yeah,
because it's like when you can't decide.
it's awesome, and this planet looks awesome. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Atmosphere and whatever. Nah, I'm joking. Fuck this
I
game.
mean,
I love it though.
I will say, in terms of this game does feel open linear, like you have
Can
your
you stim
missions.
yourself and look over here? Notice how the screen changed colors and shit.
Yeah. And the
Fun fact: that's the only reason I use that stim booster is because it makes everything like so vibrant and it changes the aesthetic. Like I shit you not, it's incredible. That's why I use it. It's awesome.
and the
Just fucking blood red everywhere I look,
yeah.
man.
Okay. I mean, that's Jester with his open world presentations. Thank you for coming to his TED Talk. I'm joking.
Thank you very much.
I guess now it's just more linear games, and I feel like that's way more vast and wide with not only A options, but what you're talking about. Because I mean, open world, you kind of just have the fact that there's many options to do. There's still a storyline. There's still all these things. But I guess with linear, you have it's just a simple A to B A to B game, but you have all these different options to choose. Like, I mean, and I guess the first one to start off on is a legendary series. We all know it. We all love it. Some hate it. Um, it's a Halo series, and I
Dog shit
guess
series, dude. No, I'm joking.
I guess with that, Halo kind of built the this legacy of having amazing story games while you're running and gunning and all these different things. I mean, Halo 1, it was a simple yeah, and spoilers if you haven't played it, but I mean the game's over fucking 20 years old, so if you haven't played it, what are you doing? Um you land on in Halo. You're getting attacked by the Covenant, and you're told all of these things as it's going. I mean, you have
What the
um
fuck? Sorry, Quasar glitch.
You're just going around killing shit, doing all these different missions, and each level is its own little individual mission, right? You drop on the Zeta Halo, start picking up all these people and or regrouping, because I mean y'all just got butt fucked. And then the next one, you're like trying to go and I think pick up some more people, pick up Captain Keys. I haven't played in a hot second, so I apologize. Um, and you go through and you see like the game not only evolves, but each mission is different. In the sense, I mean, I know for Halo 2, each mission is different, but it's way more different than Halo 1 because in Halo 1 you do backtrack, but it does this thing like as you see the flood start to come up, you're everything almost changes. I mean, like it it offers atmosphere none like other, and I feel like a lot of what makes linear games pretty good is their atmosphere. I mean, but in the story even like everything they're always talking about and um so I'm trying to recruit my thought just get my thoughts together.
You're good, man.
But you just
It could
kind
be a
of
lot.
you know you're just going around killing shit as a Spartan, and it really like gameplay wise that's all you're really doing, which it's not a lot, but for a being 2000, it's kind of it. But you do kind of it kind of all makes sense, right? You're killing shit because they're trying to attack, like you're fighting a war, and so. But I guess I'd be
Why
way
are we
much
here?
better in talking about like Halo 2 because I think after you have Halo 1, you have such a step up, not only in story, but in gameplay and all these little things that you're doing in Halo 2 because you save the Halo and then you're back on Earth, so now you're trying to save Earth. But you start playing as the Arbiter. Shout out Vadam Vladimir. I think I forget how to pronounce his name. But you're playing as the Arbiter, and there's way more story. There's way more like it's like this is not just about humans and aliens fighting, and you're trying to win for the humans. You see all these like what really the aliens are doing, which this is why I kind of love it. It gives you way more perspective on the alien side, you know. And I think the whole thing that makes linear games so good is that story. You want to be involved. You want to be encased. You want to be captivated by what's going on. The environment of each individual level. I mean, I remember the first time playing Halo 2. Probably not. I don't remember. Sorry. I probably don't really 100% remember my reaction because I was super young because I played that game a lot. But every time, you would play as the Arbiter, it was so cool because it's like this is something new, right? Instead of killing all the elites, grunts, jackals, etc., you're fighting with them and you're fighting this heresy about what these other split group of elites and whatnot have split off and yeah, you guys know. So, but I mean, Halo is just it evolves and you have such rich story. And I mean, Halo 3, Halo ODST, Halo Reach, Halo 4, and whatnot. So, I guess what are your thoughts, Jester, about I guess linear games and even Halo? I mean,
I love linear games. Honestly, I prefer them compared to open world. Um, and I do think Halo is a great start to that conversation because, dude, I don't want to say it created it, but damn, dude, it made it cool, you know. And there's a lot of fucking bugs on my screen right now.
damn. I just went over to the screen and I'm just like, what are you doing? But yeah,
It's over, man. It's game over.
I mean, like I
All
said,
right.
um, I guess that one is such a legendary start to start off on, and it's almost a little unfair, but I mean, you gotta look at linear games and compared to open world, and I
Yeah, I
guess
mean,
a lot of what they offer
it all
is
offers something different, you know.
yeah, and a lot of what they offer
If I,
is like story and like what you're doing. So kind of going back into a little bit of what we talked about with AAA games and why we think they suck is like the repetitiveness. Like, are we doing the same mission over? Because, like, are we doing the same mission over and over and over and over again, or the same minuscule little task? So, sorry, I
you know,
was.
and honestly, that's the beauty of it. Like, we complain about repetitiveness, yet there are 5 Halo games before Infinite that were doing the same shit. And the only reason we loved it was because of the story. And I think that kind of proves that you can be repetitive, but as long as there's meaning behind it, people are going to be okay with that.
Yeah.
Same shit with Uncharted, Tomb Raider. You're doing the same shit every game, but the story is switched up. Um, fucking survival horror genre. Same shit. Resident Evil, Silent Hill.
Yeah.
Just go about it in different ways. Go about it in different tellings. You know, like linear games, they need that story to be able to stand out. It has to be original, and it's pretty hard to do in today's times. You know, because it feels like they're almost there's everything has been done, every trope, every story.
Yeah.
You know, and it's really hard to make something that is new.
And unique.
Um, and unique. And I think that's part of why we're still in that rut with AAA cucks. You should add that up. Anyways,
Yeah.
yes, that's my opinion on that
That's fair.
aspect of game.
That's fair. I guess the other another linear game coming off of such a legendary series. I mean, wait. Also, I feel like it kind of sucks because when you're put on peak, such great games, it's so nice and it's such an experience, but you have such this expectation now that like every game should be like this, and it can be. It's like a double-edged sword. It can be great or it can be bad because you can, expect only these great games and shit, but it kind of also it kind of gives you an open mind of like what games can be. So I guess another gaming series and a much older one, much forgotten to time, is probably Star Wars: Knights of the Old Republic. I mean that's an old game,
Ooh, ooh.
and
Good night.
I feel like a lot of people probably did play that game and appreciate it for what it is, but modern day games or modern day people, like if you have not played that game, like I highly recommend it. I will say it is a RPG, and it can get very gameplay wise. It can get very um, tiring because you're doing like the gameplay is like action based. Everyone takes their turn. You build your own little Jedi, and then you do all these things. But the story is absolutely fucking phenomenal. I mean, you're you're trying to find out who you are as a Jedi. You woke up with no memory. It's like first thing, it's like you wake up and this ship you're on is crashing, and you're like, "What am I doing? Like, who am I?" And you kind of go into the sense of finding out about yourself. And spoilers. I mean, it's a over 20-year-old game, so if you haven't played it, look it up or play it. You turns out you're Darth Revan, and you have this option of either going back, staying on the light side and fighting off the Sith and all that, or going back and joining the Sith and becoming Darth Revan again. And you have like an apprentice you have to kill, and it's just all these different
Darth Revan is
options.
such a badass character. I just want to say real quick.
I, he is. He's probably considered one of the strongest Jedi known to man. I mean,
He definitely is. He's up there in that conversation.
yeah, it's great. And the second one, um, I've played it once. I kind of want to play it again because I don't 100% remember everything. But in term in terms of that game, it kind of really upgraded a lot of what you could do. But you just s- story wise. Sorry, said that 20 times. You kind of it's kind of a little lacking towards the ending part. I will say towards the end of that story, it really just kind of drops off. But that's whatever. That game was rushed. So I mean, just what are your thoughts? I have you even played any of them or heard anything or seen anything?
I've never played it, but I've seen story breakdowns of it, and that shit is goated. Love Darth Revan as a character, and who is it? I want to say it's Darth Malgus. That's also like
Oh, you're talking
his
about his
enemy
apprentice?
or apprentice.
It's
I know
it's
some
not
shit
Darth
goes on.
Magus. I forget. What am I forgetting? I played it too.
I'm pretty sure it is, dude. Cause
No,
like He Revan fucked up his jaw, so
Oh yeah, but here, let me look. Let me look this up. Darth Revan's apprentice.
turns out it was Star Killer.
Darth Malik.
That's who it was. My bad. My bad.
Yeah,
My bad.
Darth Malik. Yeah, he did have a straight jaw, and then yeah, it
Then
got
Revan
really
was like,
messed up.
"Shut the fuck up." It was goaded.
Yeah,
Um,
but yeah, I mean,
but yeah, in terms of that shit, dude, Star Wars is peak for linear shit, especially now.
I don't think not as much now. I know a lot of the older games have been, all the newer games, I mean, have been very
Like
not
the Jedi
good.
Survivor game,
Oh,
I
okay, well,
think.
Jedi Survivor, yeah, and I think Star Wars Battlefront 2, that what that campaign had to offer. I know you haven't played it, at least the campaign. It it was going good, in my opinion, and it could have been
And
great,
then they fucked it all up.
but they kind of went in a different direction than I think a lot of what the fans were expecting, which is it's perfectly fine. I mean, it still was very much goated. I think it has probably what a lot of the hardcore fans consider the best Luke Skywalker scene. So just a little background on it. Um, there's a mission where you play as Luke Skywalker, and this is during the time of the Empire, right before the destruction or after destruction of the second Death Star, and there's this you pull up on these Imperial guys and you start just laying waste to them. But there's um, one special forces guy that like kind of is stuck, and Luke Skywalker just kind of comes up and frees him. And the guy was like, "Why'd you do that?" And he looked at him and he says, "Because you asked." Right. So then they go through together, like they have different missions, but they're gonna work together because obviously the environment wants to kill him. And they get to where Luke Skywalker and the guy needs to go, and Skywalker wants to take this old artifact, and the guy was like, "Well, why do you want to take it?" And it's like Luke Skywalker's like, "I just need it," and he's like, "Well, why should I let you have it?" And Luke Skywalker just goes, "Because I asked." So it just kind of showed like a lot of appreciation for Luke, and like he's not really, I don't know. It was a really great scene. Look it up if you haven't seen it on the internet. But I don't know. A lot of people like it. I can't really describe in words what it really meant, but I think it was pretty goated in my humble opinion. So, but that's that game, and that's something. That's a whole
You
nother
know, it
game.
it reminds me of Sam Witwer, the goat,
Sam Wood.
and he was the guy who played Star Killer. Um, when he auditioned for that role, he kind of went against the grain. You know what I'm saying? They asked him to like portray Star Killer meditating, with the Force, and he was forcing pieces together and all that shit. And they're like, "Why are you tweaking out?" And bro was like, "He's a Sith, damn it. He doesn't know how to use the Force properly." And it goes to show how the Sith do things by Force, and the Jedi's are more like
Compassionate.
it's a part of life. Yeah, it's compassion. Like there's a choice to be had with everything, and you don't force things. I think anytime I think of that scene that you're talking about with Luke, I just always think about Sam Witwer and his
Yeah.
audition.
No, I think
Which,
I
by
know
the way, that got him the role.
but that was the one where he was like, "Oh, this is how the Sith do it. Like they do this, I
Yeah,
guess when they're if you don't know, so when Sith are like first getting their lightsaber, they do this thing called bleeding, where they pretty much force the lightsaber, or not the saber, the kyber
the
crystal,
Krister.
which is what
Krister.
the kyber crystal, which is what the lightsaber is made of. They force it to bleed almost, and just like force force it to pretty much listen to the Sith all times, right? It's like you're gonna listen to me, no matter what. Which, yeah, that's a fair point. I mean, that's a whole another discussion, but
As I
it's
say, I'm last thing because we're just we're gonna go on about this for hours. I feel. I'm so pissed at Disney for how they handled Kylo Ren's character. Bro could have been one of the, if not the best Sith of all time, and I'll die on that hill. They fucked it up.
It's unfortunate. I will say that, but you just gotta sigh and shrug. That's just the way the world goes sometimes. So, but yeah, no, totally. I agree. So I guess the next story related to linear blah 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 game. One I think very underappreciated and isn't your normal type of game. I mean I've talked about it before, so I feel like you have an idea. It's Armored Core 6. And that game in terms of story does it so beautifully. Forget the fact that the gameplay is absolutely goated and you're in a giant robot 90% of the time. The story comes from pretty much you the story comes from the voice acting and the comms and all these different shit because that's pretty much what it is, right? You don't see any faces, you don't see any people. There's none of that. It's all just voices and what people talk and say. And I mean, there was one time I was watching this YouTuber play it, and not only did I not like him for it because he was like, "Oh, this game feels very like there's no story, like I don't know what I'm doing, blah blah blah, and I'm just going around killing shit." That to me was just straight up fucking wrong because bro wasn't listening. Yes, I get it, the fact that he's trying to make a YouTube video and he has to make it entertaining or whatever, but choosing to ignore the story or not willing to give it a shot or listen, it's just shut the fuck up, in my humble opinion, because yes, it is a great gameplay of you going around killing shit, but if you actually take the time to listen to what each individual people are saying, you find this vast story about. It's just amazing because Armored Core 6 is just about it's another game about choices. What are you gonna be? Are you gonna be the dog? Are you gonna be the mercenary that everybody can just like look up and rely to? Just a mutt, right? To for the use of these men that just want money, or are you gonna be your own person? And that whole ties into the fact of the whole Raven thing, which it pretty much like the whole Raven ideology of what that is pretty much just making your own choices, flying on your own wings, right? Taking height and um making your own choices. And it's such a beautiful game and you see all these different personalities and all these different people and all these different perspectives, right? Like I said, there's three different endings, but I mean the last one's the true ending. But the two different endings you can choose is to either save a race of people you've never even met or know, or destroy it all because it's just gonna corrupt more and more people to come in. Um, yeah, a little bit of spoiler, sorry. Or destroy it all so that no one can have it. So, like, it really gives you a choice, and that's pretty much all it is. It's a choice based, well, not really a choice based game, but kind of makes you really think. And like I said, if you take the time just to listen to what people are saying, it'll make you like cry almost because I swear the first decision I ever made, I was crying by the end of it because I'm like, I didn't know what I was doing, and I didn't really appreciate it for what I did now. But it just kind of like, it's like, what do I do, right? All the time you've been playing, you've been kind of told what to do. Hey, you're gonna go kill these people, or hey, there's another mission. There's some more people to kill. Here's another job. It's all put in your face for you. You're just like a dog being told what to do. And it's like as you go on, you start to see you have to make your own decision. You know, I don't know. It's beautiful in that sense, and I I fucking love it. And I think everybody should play that game, despite the fact that either play it or watch someone play it and truly appreciate the story for what it is because it's beautiful. Oh,
Oh yeah.
I know. Sorry, you go.
I am pretty interested in playing it. I just don't know if I'll get around to it because I have so many games I'm trying to play, dude. A good majority of them I talked about earlier.
Yeah.
Especially I have games I want to replay as well. Um,
Oh no, no, I'm
but
joking.
I do love a game that gives you a thought-provoking end, and they put it in your hands. I always love that, having a decision, and I even love when games take it like a step further, and the actions that you cause throughout your entire time of playing also affect the ending. I don't know, there's something beautiful about it. Reap what you sow, if you even care that much, type of thing.
Yeah, it shows like it goes back to that whole thing of you can do whatever you want, but be prepared to face the consequences. Like you can help save these race of people, but be prepared to kill the one man that like helped you get to where you are. Or you could destroy. That's a little bit of spoilers, but you could destroy everything, but be prepared to fight the one person that was with you through it all and truly understood you more than it. It's so beautiful. It shows. I think that game shows the best example of yeah, you can make this decision, but be prepared to face the consequences because you're gonna have to make these tough decisions, or you're gonna have to make these decisions where it's like, oh, I don't want to do this, or I don't want to fight this person, kill this guy, So it's so beautiful. I cry every time I play it, and I've I've replayed it a lot. If there's one game I've replayed a lot, it's that game, and there's a good reason. Like FromSoft, yes, they know how to make Dark Souls and this and that, but they know how to make a good thought-invoking game, in my humble opinion. So
Oh yeah. I do never hear about Armored Core. It's always Dark Souls or Elden Ring. And
it's
occasional Bloodborne.
yeah, it's one of those forgotten games, and it's unfortunate. It's kind of like an it is what it is times type of thing, but I think a lot of people will appreciate it more for what it is because there's so much to it. So,
Yeah.
so I mean, I know I probably did like 4 or 5, but I mean, it's what it is. I mean, there's like I said, there's a lot of examples of linear games, and we could talk about hours and hours about all these different games. Call of Duty, all the FPS shooters and whatnot. At least the campaigns for those. But I
Your
think we're gonna
Silent Hill
end it
2
here. Yeah,
nod.
I think we're gonna end it here, and I guess give a little final thoughts. I mean, at the end of the day, there's a lot of open world games, especially now more than ever. I feel like, and
Oh
there's
yeah.
there's a whole le- legendary amount of linear games. I mean, just the ones I talked about were a couple, but you have. Sorry, I'm gonna sneeze. I apologize. You have all amazing different games, and you know it's it's so vast and wide, and there's a lot of options. I mean, even someone who has never played any games or tried out some of the games, like there's a vast amount of them that they can start out on because fucking hey, dude, I'm trying to get you. There's a vast amount of games that you can play, so go out. And another thing that I hate people saying, sorry, is people saying there's no good games to play. There are so many good games to play. You just have to go out
There
and look for
are,
them.
dude.
And yes, it is. Oh, but I don't know what I like. Just start trying shit. You never know. You never know what you like till you find out or you try because it's like I said, there's a lot of games. So, you know, trying them at the very least is something you can do because you never know what you might find. And there's even different aspects of each individual little game, whether it's open, whether it's linear, whether you're sitting around in a mech killing shit. So many shit that you might like. So I think going out and trying all these different games, and even if you're limited by what you have, like some people might just have a console or a Nintendo Switch, like at least try. Maybe scrape up some money or save up some money and try to buy another game, or start saving. Even looking at sales, dude. Start putting different games on your wish list to look for or whatnot. So yeah, go on and try. Go on and be. I don't really know. So, what's your thoughts,
You
Jesse?
definitely need to experiment, in my opinion, when you're looking for games that you like. You can't be closed-minded, especially today with the gaming industry. Because if you're looking for AAA, it's gonna be shit that they've been working on for years, and you're either gonna love it or hate it. You got indie game devs, and you're lucky if you're on PC. Because oh my god, if I had Steam,
There's a lot.
I probably would be more of a no life. As awesome as that sounds, it's just one of those things where you just gotta go out and find what works for you. And if at the end of the day you truly try and nothing's still, working for you, then at least you can say you tried. But until then, keep going. Um, if you don't know where to start, though, uh, all the games we mentioned in the video are peak, and you should try them out for yourself.
Yeah,
That's what I think.
shit's fair.
Man, let me tell you something. Let me tell you something.
Let me tell you a
I
little
tell
something.
you what. Thank you, John Bernthal. Anyways, um, but yeah, uh,
You
if
can give
you
their
made it
final
this far
thoughts.
into the video,
Oh, yeah, you are.
thank you. I appreciate you. You do you. Um, means the world. If you didn't make it this far, which is funny because you wouldn't be able to hear me right now. Fuck. No, I'm joking. I'm joking. It don't matter. It don't matter.
All right.
Either way, love all the viewers, even though they want to leave after a minute. I don't blame them. It's gonna be okay.
All right. Thank you for that
Bitch.
ending. Um, my thoughts as always. Stay passionate, y'all. Every day is a new day. If it starts shitty, I hope it gets better. And if it don't, well, just get through the day. Tomorrow's a new day. Make it better. Also, just wanted to give a shout out. Thank y'all so much. I mean, for the love. I know we're at 30 subs, so that's not a lot, but I mean, to us, that's 30 people.
Motherfucker, that's a lot to us, dude.
You could fill a whole Denny's aisle with that amount of people. I guess in
Alright, when you put it
comparison.
like that, shit gets crazy.
Yeah. So, and
Now I understand.
even all the views in the last video, we do appreciate it. I mean, uh, shout out Rishi. I think that was a great video, and I had a feeling it'd be great. So, thank y'all. So, yeah, that's me. That's UnfairSteak signing out as we slowly fade away. Fade to black.
It gets better.
Yeah, I was listening to that
Don't
song.
give up.
I don't know if you saw it, Jester. I was streaming and I was playing that song.